Welcome to a virtual art reception with Dalia Reyes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Esteemed Detroit-based artist, we've always wanted to have a show of your works here.
Thank you.
The timing obviously works out that we are now in COVID world, so we have to do this virtually. So we can't have folks here safely in the library doing a walkthrough, but we have the works up and we're so grateful for it. Thank you.
I'm so grateful for you that you're doing all this and giving artists opportunities like this. Really, I think it's a huge honor. Thank you so much. I hope you continue to do this
Oh, yes.
throughout. We need it.
We do need it.
I mean, people need this, but artists need this as, opportunities. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you know that we need this because you work at Galerie Camille. You should tell the folks at home about that.
Okay, yeah. Galerie Camille is a contemporary art gallery in the heart of, Cass Corridor in Midtown Detroit. And it's been around there since, I think, 2014.
Right.
But I have been there just a little over a year. So I am their director of contemporary art. And so I curate. And I'm also an artist. So this is why I'm here, for my art.
You have
cosmic art.
You have told me about this before, but tell the folks at home, you kind of grew up with a very art-filled household, right?
Oh, yes.
So you must have realized in an early age how, I guess, what is the word for it? How art can just bring a brightness into our lives. I know that sounds so cliche, but what do you think?
No, I don't know. I think, things that you put around you are meant to make you feel good or something, within cultures that you feel honor about. And I think in my family, we always had something colorful, something beautiful, or a print of, some famous piece of art that I would only see in like a book. And I think that early exposure was really important, I think, for me. And I think that led to interest in going to museums and different kinds of art. I think it just really opened up that whole world at a very early age. And it helped also because my family, my grandfather was an artist, and my older brother is an artist, and my uncle, I found out, was an artist, and I didn't get to meet him. So, I think it just runs in my family also. So I just got.
I'm sure everyone in your family must have a unique answer, and maybe you have a unique answer as to why you feel drawn to create. I feel like that was a pun, drawn to create, when it comes to art. But
yeah, that is fun.
So,
why? I think it's just I'm starting to think of this in this way, is that art is just a language. And I think for me, it was something that I was just more attracted to, that I wanted to continue to cultivate, just because I like how it made me feel. I think.
Yeah.
So I think I've always been influenced by artists that I thought had that a little bit same sensibility, or that are like dreamy and cosmic, where I think there's a lot of that at first, like escapist kind of feeling of like, I just want to be somewhere else, or I want to feel something else, and without being super specific.
You have work that also draws from the natural world as well. But tell us about this. This is part of your Portal series. Maybe you could start with these two pieces here.
Yeah, so these pieces, this is from the Portal series, and I'm calling this the first edition of it, because there's going to be a few editions of this Portal series. And these pieces are the first ones. And I was very intrigued by the idea of a portal. And I guess I came upon it when I was doing research for my last show. I think a show 2 years ago called Rainbow Body, that was about meditating to where you evaporate into like a rainbow, and you transcend, quote unquote.
Become almost vaporous.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, what if you you just can, time travel through your mind and through peace. And this is just what would come up. It's just, whether it's full of empty, like it's so full of empty, but full and empty at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I just really have been drawn through the darkness and how freeing it feels, for the possibilities or where your mind can go. So
Transcendence, I think, is a great word for it.
Thank you.
And then folks are virtually watching this. Maybe you could tell us about how these two were made, because you can't see very close up, but we'll try to show you some images. There's a glittery substance on the surface. How did you make that?
Yeah, so that's just like a additive to the paint.
Nice.
And at first I started using the gold leaf in kind of a splattery way that had that same, same look. But then I found this additive, kind of like really fine glitter that I just put in there, and I don't know, I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as deliberate here; it's just more subtle, and I just really like when things are a little bit quieter and subtle, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes I would feel like I have to add something else, I have to do something else, but I really just want to feel, I don't know, free in the possibilities in this moment. And then sometimes I want to be more deliberate and be more, like this is this big vortex.
Mm-hmm.
But these are a lot quieter. These are meant to be a lot quieter.
Yeah, very calming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I could see though, you'd mentioned that rainbow meditation, because even this piece especially has a rainbow around its circumference, which is beautiful. Even subtle rainbow action going here. Mm-hmm. Rainbow action. That sounds like a show I would watch. Tell me about coming into, when I see this gold, I almost think of like a sun, but gold comes up later in this Portal series.
Well, I just fell in love with gold years ago when I went to this the show at the exhibition at the Guggenheim. It was called The Third Mind, and it was, I forget, these American artists making work based off of Asia from this certain time. So it was a very spiritual show, I think, and it was the first time that I experienced that feeling like, oh, this is, what somebody might experience at a church or something, but I was, at a museum, and I was having those same feelings like, wow, this is art. This is a very powerful feeling coming from art. And it had to do with this one room that was just all full of gold leaf. So something about that feeling that I have always wanted to, hone and carry with me. So there's always a little bit of gold in all of my work. And so I would make big pieces, and then I started making smaller pieces just to, be able to kind of reach more audience that don't have that much, wall space, or it's just another one of those decisions you have to make as an artist.
Sure.
You want to be able to make all different kinds of sizes of things for everybody.
And then the cosmic element. With this piece especially, I almost feel like I can see the beginnings of constellations or shooting stars.
Yep.
That's
exactly what it's supposed to feel like.
A preoccupation or a fascination with space that all coming into
absolutely. I think that I always thought that thinking of space was just another one of those dreamy things that I did that would make me feel like, okay, there's more than just what's happening here. There's this whole like universe out there that if I think about that, I can ground myself in that thought and feel like, not that we're like insignificant, but feel like just a different perspective that makes it easier.
Oh, yeah.
With all the details and troubles of the day-to-day. That's what I don't know. That's what I've always wanted to create from.
Yeah. I like how you said that. it's completely disparate, but I remember visiting Tequamanon Falls, which is obviously
that place.
it's obviously beautiful. And I remember thinking, this here I am in person regarding this, beauty of nature, but it's existing every other day that I'm back home in the suburbs. It's here every morning that I'm getting up out of my bed. And then I don't know, that's how I thought of, like, Saturn's out there right now spinning. Our little problems are here, but like
Right.
all of that is out there.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. And then I also think of like, because I'm just reaching for other ways to connect with, I feel like, different teachings, whether it's Aztec or Mesoamerican, that feels like, oh, I want to honor these things. I want to honor roots. I want to continue on this of honoring, the richness of this culture, of my culture, that still comes through, even though I'm not directly, doing the painting these icons, and sometimes I do. But mostly it's that same wonder of like there are these tribes or cultures that that glorified the sun or the moon, and I do that too. It's just so funny that these themes continue on, like, no matter, it just and then later on I think, oh wow, I wonder if that's where it comes from.
yeah, it might be. It's such a self-examination.
Yeah. So it just, these themes just keep coming up, and I just can't seem to stop making them, painting about them, and it makes me feel good. So I continue doing it. And as long as, people are interested in giving me shows like this, I'll keep doing it.
Continuing in the Portal series,
Yes.
one of the, if not the biggest piece in the series. Tell us about this one.
Yes. Okay, so this one I was really excited to paint because I feel like sometimes I work on something and I don't know where I'm going, and it's kind of intuitive. But this I saw like in my mind, and I just needed to do it. And I just thought about, I went to Joshua Tree last year, was it 2 years ago? I can't remember. And I stayed the night, like on one of the campgrounds. And I just remember like seeing so many stars and thinking, oh man, I should have taken a photo and like done a long exposure and gotten one of those really cool, those, you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're talking about when you have the time delay and the stars look like they're shooting.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, that makes me feel like that could be a portal. So I made that into a portal, and
I love it. And then again, there's such fine detail when you get close up, folks. It almost looks like some of these gold pieces are patched on, or I almost see some lines in there.
Yeah.
Is it like some sort of gold lame that's on there, or it's not paint?
It's the gold leaf.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Foil. So yeah, so that takes like different layers. So it's very delicate work, the gold leaf. Any kind of light foil that just falls apart. So it takes a long time, and like this isn't, I would say, like my cleanest work, I would say. I mean, I like it.
From back there, it looks clean.
It's not about that part, but it's just hard. It's hard to do, you have to have a very steady hand and like not breathe.
Are you someone who would get a little pressured by that, or do you like the meticulousness of it?
I don't, because I don't treat it delicately. I kind of just play with it. I don't. I think if I did, I wouldn't like it. I want people to see that it isn't perfect. I'm not trying to make it perfect.
Yeah.
I want it to be. I want you to see not the mistakes, because I don't think there are any mistakes, but I like the imperfections.
Yeah, I was going to ask whether or not, when you think of your audiences, is that something you think of what they're going to think when they look at your stuff?
I mean, I do think about that, because at first Well, that's not my first, that's not where I kind of go for. I just want to, fulfill this idea. And then I think, how would people respond to that? I think like later on. But that I do think about that because I do want to reach the person that's viewing the work, but I also don't want it to drive the whole idea completely.
Right.
So I don't want to leave the viewer completely out. Like this is just deal with it.
Right.
But I want you to be intrigued enough to look so that you can go into the portal and feel something.
Yes.
You know.
Well, they can go where they want when they
Yeah.
look at it. Yeah.
That's like I feel like anything else. You
Yeah.
know. But yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know if I'll make another one like this because this is so detailed. But I like it.
I love it too.
Yeah.
Dalia, another thing about what we've had to do with our art shows here is we can really only utilize this wide open space because our normal gallery space is being used for curbside pickup preparations. So we appreciate you bringing this other piece, which technically we ran out of room for, but here it is. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, so this piece is called Golden Space, and it was created before the portal pieces were kind of in the same idea, except this is all portal of all gold, and so you can kind of see the concentric circles, and so this ended up being just something that I made for myself. So this is in my meditation room. I wanted to show it to you. This led to the portal series.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we were also just talking before we started recording about how we need to meditate more.
Yes.
You have a meditation room.
Yeah. Yep. The room is a meditation / so many other things like, meditation room, workout room, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Tell me about the measurements of these concentric circles. Did you space them out? Or is that
I
freehand?
can't remember. No, it's not freehand.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
I almost imagine a giant compass.
I make a compass.
That's
Yeah. Make it out of cardboard. Yeah, this is, I don't know, I think this is one of the first pieces that I use screws, and so it's kind of like the beginning. Like I'm probably I want to do this again, but I want to do it differently. So this was like a preliminary gold piece that I'm keeping just for myself.
Beautiful.
But thank you for letting me show it, though.
No, of course. I feel like it's a good thing for people to see is that you can make art just for yourself. Yeah. I mean, I know we're showing it and we're showing it off here, but for folks at home who just want to be creative for creative sake, that's it sounds like it gave you some peace.
It did.
So we went from 2 of the biggest pieces to 2 of the smallest pieces. Yes. In fact, maybe you could start with the very smallest piece. Yes, so the baby little ellipsis portal here. This was also part of the first ones that I did, like the initial ones, those first, blue and white ones. I made that during the same time. And again, I just wanted to make something for a different kind of buyer also, like something small. But I only ended up making one of them. So I like the small, but I think my sweet spot is probably the big square ones. I kind of like that more. I think the idea of a portal, I think size, man, with that, like you can like go inside the thing. This is, I don't know if people get it. It's kind of small. I hope so. What's the terminology I should use? Canvas is one thing, but this is dimensional. It's coming about 4 or 5 inches off of the wall. It's got some thick wood behind it. So did you have to construct that part too?
Yes.
That's great.
So I make all of the canvases. It's like one of my favorite parts about making the work is making I guess the boring part is just, cutting the wood, putting it together, and I really love that part. And I wasn't good at it for a very long time. I would pay somebody to make my pieces, but no, I really enjoy it. It's part of it.
That's great.
It becomes part of the process. There's like this, week long of, making everything first and then prepping everything and then actually making the art part. So it takes a while. Yeah. And so this one, and then this one I really like because I think there's a lot more detail than any of the ones here. And this one, when I look at it, I think of when I was doing it, it was like late at night. And I'm just going, like, making these little hatches to try to make the portal like there's, action, like you're going in there.
Absolutely.
Pretty fast.
Yes.
And I did the same thing. I used the additive to the paint, so it has this like halo effect. And I didn't know if I liked it right away. So it was an experiment.
There's more urgency in this piece, and I mean that specifically by contrast. The other pieces are very peaceful, calm, almost like stargazing situations. Right. This one is very much like you're coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and it did feel that way at the time, and so I just wanted to go with it. And I think when you put it in the light, it just kind of glitters, and I think, oh my god, maybe it's too much.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with that. I'm going to put it out there anyway.
Was it different in any way to create this one? Was your hand going a little furiouser?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, and sometimes I like to do that. I think it's like a good exercise, and because I do like to do like very detailed work. Before I did this, I was doing more figurative work where you are making faces and more details, fine details. So this is my way of kind of going back to that. But I tend to always go back to those things. Mm-hmm. I do like the quietness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that timing didn't work out where we could have people in here, but I think you're an ideal artist to be showing in such a time where we really do need a sense of inner peace. Is that a word I could say?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that because I think that is exactly how I want it to be viewed, as something that you can look at and, hopefully feel good or help you have those kinds of thoughts. And I know I need that right now. I know a lot of us need a little bit of grounding and just a reminder that this is temporary, and we'll be able to get through this. And
transcendence is achievable.
Yeah, right. Just I don't know. So I'm just trying to use the tools that I have to my best advantage, and that's the art. Whether it's art or meditation or music, or reading about those things, that's what's helping me right now.
It's great.
It's helping me get through. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for bringing your work to the library.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
I appreciate the Ferndale Library for having me and for having these kinds of things that you put out there in the world.
Well, I feel like I have more questions for you. And maybe folks watching at home have more questions. You can meet Dalia. We'll do a virtual Zoom meeting in a month from now. The virtual art exhibition has begun. Thank you for being here, Dalia.
Thank you so much, Jeff.